Michael leaned against the cold metal railing of the observation deck, watching as the Alothian spacecraft descended into Earth's atmosphere. The crowd around him buzzed with excitement and apprehension. His 8-year-old son, Jake, tugged at his sleeve, eyes wide with wonder. "Dad, they're really here, aren't they?" Jake's voice was a mix of nervousness and excitement. "They really are," Michael replied, offering a reassuring smile. He ruffled Jake's hair. "Remember, they're just curious about us, like we are about them." As the ship landed and the doors opened, a delegation of Alothians emerged, their slender forms draped in shimmering fabrics. The leader of the delegation, Ambassador Yilrez, approached with a warm smile, extending a hand to the Earth representatives. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador," Michael heard the president say, her voice steady and welcoming. Yilrez's voice was soft yet clear. "Thank you, President Hughes. We come in peace and hope to learn from each other." Michael watched as diplomats and officials exchanged pleasantries. After the initial greetings, the crowd began to disperse, and Yilrez approached Michael and Jake. "Ah, you must be Michael, the exoanthropologist," Yilrez said, his eyes twinkling with interest. "And this must be your son. We've read much about your work." "That's correct," Michael said, feeling a mixture of pride and unease. "And this is Jake. We're honored to meet you." Yilrez knelt down to Jake's level. "Hello, Jake. I hear today is your birthday. Would you like to see our ship? We have a special room where we teach our children about the universe." Jake's eyes lit up. "Can I, Dad?" Michael hesitated, sensing an odd feeling in his gut, but the opportunity was too unique to pass up. "Go ahead, buddy. I'll be right here." Jake beamed and followed Yilrez onto the ship. As the doors closed behind them, Michael's unease grew, but he chalked it up to paternal instinct. Minutes turned into hours, and what was supposed to be a brief educational tour seemed to take longer than expected. Michael's concern escalated with each passing moment. He approached a security officer. "Excuse me, my son went aboard the Alothian ship with Ambassador Yilrez for a tour. He's been gone quite a while now." The officer checked his device. "Let me inquire, Mr. Michael." As the officer spoke into his communicator, Michael tried to stay calm, but the delay gnawed at him. Finally, the officer looked up, confusion etched on his face. "There seems to be some misunderstanding. The ambassador thought you were joining them. They're actually waiting for you before they start the session." Relief washed over Michael as he quickly boarded the ship. The interior was a labyrinth of corridors bathed in soft light. He followed the signs to the educational wing, where he found Jake standing alone in a hallway, looking confused and a bit scared. "Jake." Michael rushed to his son, hugging him tightly. "Are you okay?" Jake nodded, his voice small. "Yeah, Dad, but I didn't see any classroom. They just showed me this room and left me there. I waited for you." Michael's concern turned to suspicion as he pieced together the events. He decided it was time to leave, quickly guiding Jake back to the exit. As they walked away from the ship, Michael looked back, his mind racing with questions. What was the real purpose of inviting Jake alone? Why the confusion and delay? Something didn't add up, and Michael knew he had to be more cautious from now on. Back on Earth, the reality of the Alothians' presence and their interest in human children would soon become all too apparent, challenging everything Michael thought he knew about these visitors from the stars. After the unsettling visit to the Alothian ship, Michael couldn't shake his sense of foreboding. At home, Jake seemed quieter than usual, lost in thought. Watching his son retreat into himself, Michael's resolve hardened. He needed answers. That night, after Jake had gone to sleep, Michael sat in his home office, surrounded by screens displaying data and Alothian texts. His fingers flew over the keyboard as he accessed various secure networks, seeking anything that might explain the day's events or hint at the Alothians' true intentions. Hours passed, and his eyes grew weary until a particular file caught his attention. It was heavily encrypted, suggesting something valuable or dangerous, or both. Michael's expertise in xenolinguistics wasn't just about communication. It involved code-breaking alien encryptions as well. He set to work, his mind both dreading and anticipating what he might discover. Finally, the screen flickered and the document opened. It was a detailed research proposal titled Human Emotional Spectrum and Stress Responses, a Comparative Study. Michael's heart raced as he scrolled through the document, which outlined an experimental approach to studying human children under various stress scenarios to understand their emotional resilience. Damn it, Michael cursed under his breath. He now understood the real reason behind Jake's invitation to the ship. They weren't just interested in human culture, they were studying them like lab rats. The sound of footsteps snapped him back to reality. He quickly minimized the screen, turning to see Jake standing in the doorway, rubbing his eyes. "Can't sleep, buddy?" Michael's voice was soft, masking his turmoil. Jake shuffled into the room. "Had a bad dream about the ship," he murmured, climbing into his father's lap. Michael hugged him tightly, his mind racing. "It's okay, Jake. You're safe here, I promise." As Jake drifted back to sleep in his arms, Michael's thoughts turned dark. He knew what he had to do. Placing Jake back in bed, he returned to his office and began composing messages to his contacts across human space. If the Elothians were conducting unauthorized experiments on humans, everyone needed to be warned. They needed a coordinated response. Throughout the night, Michael sent encrypted messages to his most trusted colleagues, outlining the Elothian research and its implications. By dawn, his quiet network of academics, government insiders, and military contacts were all informed, setting the stage for a collective human response. As the sun rose, Michael watched it from his office window, feeling the weight of the impending struggle. He knew that exposing the Elothians would not be without risk. They were technologically superior and had been seemingly friendly until now. But Michael could not and would not let their deceptive gestures hide their exploitation of human vulnerability. With Jake and the safety of humanity in mind, Michael prepared for the repercussions of his actions. He knew the Elothians would soon realize that their secret was out, and he had to be ready to protect his son and his planet. This was just the beginning. Michael's revelations about the Elothian experiments sparked outrage and fear throughout human territories. His once academic and cautious network transformed overnight into a fervent alliance, seeking to defend humanity from what was now perceived as a sinister alien threat. Michael found himself at the center of strategic meetings, his home perpetually buzzing with military advisors and alien relations experts. On one such evening, with his living room transformed into a makeshift command center, General Hartley slammed his fist down on the table. "We can't just sit on our hands. We need a proactive strategy, not just defensive maneuvers." Michael nodded, his eyes scanning the room. "I agree, General, but we need something that gives us an edge. Conventional arms won't be enough if it comes to a confrontation." As the debate continued, a message pinged on Michael's tablet. It was from Dr. Lena Choi, a renowned archaeologist and a close friend, currently stationed on a remote human colony. Her message was cryptic, but urgent, mentioning an ancient human defense system that might be reactivated. Intrigued and desperate for any advantage, Michael excused himself from the meeting. "Michael, where are you going?" asked Colonel Reeves, noticing his abrupt departure. "I need to follow up on something, potentially a game changer," Michael responded without stopping. In his study, Michael activated a secure video call to Lena. Her face appeared on screen, weathered yet determined. "Michael, I've stumbled upon something incredible here. The legends were true, about the Juggernauts." Michael's heart skipped a beat. "The ancient defense robots?" "Yes," Lena confirmed. "We found one buried near the colony. It's intact, Michael, and from the preliminary tests, it might just be operational." The revelation was staggering. The Juggernauts were a myth, a part of old space lore that told of giant robotic warriors created by ancient humans to safeguard against cosmic threats. The possibility that they could be real and operational was beyond Michael's wildest hopes. "We need to see this, Lena. If what you're saying is true, we could have a real chance at defending ourselves." "Then come here, Michael. See it for yourself," Lena urged. Without hesitation, Michael organized a small team to accompany him to Lena's colony. They traveled under the guise of a routine inspection to avoid raising suspicion. Upon arrival, Lena led them through a dense jungle to a hidden excavation site. There, towering above them, partially unearthed, stood a juggernaut. Its immense metal frame was covered in vines and soil, its features both alien and intimidating. Michael approached it in awe, laying his hand against its cold metal. "We've only scratched the surface of its capabilities," Lena explained as they walked around the colossal figure. "But it's designed to be piloted by a human, and it responds to neural commands." "Can it be replicated, or are there more?" Michael asked, his mind racing with possibilities. "We're scanning for more as we speak," Lena replied. "But reactivating this one alone could change the balance of power." Back on Earth, Michael shared the news, presenting the Juggernaut as a beacon of hope. His words galvanized the human territories. Expeditions were quickly planned to seek out other Juggernauts, hoping to find and reactivate them before any potential conflict with the Elothians escalated. As Michael watched teams prepare, he felt a mix of fear and determination. With the Juggernauts, humanity could protect itself, but the path ahead was fraught with unknowns. The storm was gathering, and Michael knew that the actions they took now would determine humanity's fate in the galaxy. Michael's quest to uncover the truth about the Elothians led him to an obscure archaeological site on Titan, Saturn's largest moon. Legends whispered of an ancient juggernaut buried deep beneath the moon's icy surface, a remnant of humanity's long-forgotten past when Earth had faced other cosmic threats. As he and his hastily assembled team of engineers and ex-military landed on the frosty terrain, the mood was tense. The site was remote, the landscape alien and unwelcoming. They set up camp near the coordinates that Michael had deciphered from old texts and began their excavation. "Dr. Anderson, are we really expecting to find something here?" asked Sarah, a seasoned engineer, as she calibrated the heavy drilling equipment. Michael looked out over the icy plains. "The legends are specific. An ancient protector lies here, and if it's real, it might be our best shot at understanding, or even confronting, the Elothians." For days they drilled into the dense ice, guided by sophisticated sensors and driven by a mixture of hope and desperation. Then, the sensors beeped frantically, signaling a massive anomaly directly beneath them. The team worked around the clock, melting and drilling until they uncovered an enormous metal structure. "It's here," Michael breathed, his voice filled with awe. "The Juggernaut." The machine was unlike anything contemporary human engineering could conceive. It stood nearly 50 meters tall, its body covered in ornate carvings that glowed faintly with residual energy. As the team approached, the air around them crackled with static electricity. "Look at these inscriptions," Michael said, tracing his fingers over the symbols. "They suggest this juggernaut was once awakened using a biometric sequence, essentially a human pilot." Determined, Michael stepped forward and placed his hand on a large, hand-shaped indentation on the juggernaut's torso. To everyone's surprise, the machine hummed to life, lights flickering across its surface. "You've got to be kidding me," Sarah muttered, staring in disbelief. The juggernaut's chest opened, revealing a cockpit lined with interfaces that looked eerily compatible with modern technology. Michael, without hesitation, climbed inside, feeling an instant connection to the machine. It was as if it had been waiting for him, or someone like him, all these years. "Systems coming online," announced Lisa, the team's tech specialist, monitoring the diagnostics. "It's like it's self-repairing and adapting to you, Dr. Anderson." As Michael acclimated to the controls, a flood of data streamed through the interface, revealing glimpses of ancient battles and forgotten alliances. More importantly, it provided potential insights into the Elothians' weaknesses. With the Juggernaut now awakened, Michael sent a broadcast to Earth and its colonies. He shared the discovery and the looming threat of the Elothians. The news of the Juggernaut ignited a spark of resistance across the human territories. "We're not just going to sit back," Michael declared over the transmission. "We're going to take the fight to them. With this technology, with these giants, we stand a chance." As preparations began to unearth more Juggernauts, Michael trained with the Titan giant, learning its capabilities and limits. Each simulation and test run made him more adept, more ready to lead what would become humanity's most desperate counterstrike. With the revelation of the Juggernaut's power, Michael's call to arms resonated throughout human-controlled space. News of the ancient Titan reawakened under Michael's command stirred a burgeoning resistance movement. Within weeks, similar excavations sprang up on other planets and moons, each hoping to uncover more dormant Juggernauts. On Earth, the formation of a new coalition, the Earth Defense Alliance, EDA, marked a pivotal turn. Governments and corporations pooled resources, driven by the dual threats of alien aggression and the potential extinction of humanity. Michael, as the pilot of the first reactivated Juggernaut, became the de facto leader and symbol of this newly united front. The EDA's headquarters buzzed with activity as strategists and scientists collaborated on integrating Juggernaut technology with current military assets. In a makeshift command center, Michael reviewed tactical simulations and deployment strategies. "Michael, we have reports coming in. 2 more Juggernauts have been activated, one on Mars, the other on Europa," announced General Ramirez, the appointed military head of the EDA. "That's excellent news, General," Michael replied, his voice steady despite the mounting pressure. "Have the pilots been confirmed?" "Yes. They're both veterans of the Space Corps, ready and capable. We're arranging for them to join you for combined training sessions, the general confirmed. Michael nodded, his mind racing with the logistical challenges ahead. Training pilots, coordinating a fleet, and planning an offensive required meticulous attention. Yet, amidst the strategic planning, a personal drive fueled him. The memory of his son's frightened face aboard the Elothian ship. Later that day, Michael joined a secure video call with leaders from various human colonies. The screen lit up with faces marked by determination and fear, reflecting the gravity of their situation. "Ladies and gentlemen," Michael began, "the reactivation of these Juggernauts isn't just about defense. We're on the brink of taking the fight to the Elothians. They brought this war to our doorstep, and now we must respond in kind." The call was a blend of tactical discussions and motivational speeches. Michael outlined the plan to form an interstellar fleet with the Juggernauts at its core, bolstered by human cruisers and fighter squadrons. The operation's complexity was daunting, yet the unity of purpose was palpable. In the weeks that followed, Michael traveled to Mars and Europa, meeting the other Juggernaut pilots, Captain Lisa Nguyen from Mars and Lieutenant Raj Patel from Europa. Both pilots had experienced their own harrowing encounters with the Elothians, each eager to avenge the wrongs done to humanity. Together, they trained in the harsh terrains of Mars, pushing the Juggernauts to their limits. The colossal machines proved versatile and powerful, each uniquely adapted to its pilot's instincts and tactics. Back on Earth, the public's support for the fleet grew. Broadcasts of the Juggernauts' training missions circulated widely, stirring a sense of awe and renewed hope. Humanity, once on the brink of despair, now saw a glimmer of victory. As Michael prepared for the upcoming confrontation, he felt the weight of command, yet found solace in the solidarity of his fellow pilots. Together, they formed the spearhead of humanity's counter-assault, ready to reclaim their place in the cosmos and protect their home at all costs. As the newly formed interstellar fleet readied for battle, Michael and his fellow Juggernaut pilots stood at the forefront of humanity's defense. The unity and resolve of the Earth Defense Alliance, EDA, had transformed disparate fleets into a formidable force, poised to challenge the Elothian threat head-on. Aboard the flagship, the Resolute, Michael reviewed the battle plans one last time. The command center was alive with activity, screens displaying star maps and tactical data. His fellow pilots, Lisa and Raj, joined him, their expressions a mix of determination and apprehension. "We're as ready as we'll ever be," Lisa said, looking over the data. "The Juggernauts have given us more than just firepower, they've given us hope." Raj nodded in agreement. "The simulations show we have a fighting chance, especially with the element of surprise on our side. We strike at their outpost on Callisto first." Michael addressed his team, his voice carrying a calm authority. "This isn't just about survival anymore. It's about taking back what's ours and showing the Elothians that humanity won't be intimidated or subdued. We strike hard, fast, and without mercy." The fleet launched under the cover of a meteor shower, using the natural cosmic event as a stealth cover. As they approached Callisto, the Elothian outpost loomed ahead, unaware of the impending attack. "Juggernauts, you're up first. Clear a path for the cruisers and fighters," commanded Admiral Brooks from the Resolute. Michael, Lisa, and Raj piloted their Juggernauts to the forefront. The Elothian sensors picked them up too late. The first wave of the attack was brutal and precise, with the Juggernauts tearing through the alien defenses with unmatched ferocity. Explosions lit up the space around Callisto as human fighter squadrons followed, weaving through debris and returning fire. The outpost's shields faltered under the onslaught, and the human forces pressed their advantage. "Keep pushing, they're faltering." Michael rallied his forces through the comm system. His Juggernaut, now an extension of his own will, moved with lethal grace, dispatching Elothian drones and defensive structures. As the battle raged, an Elothian cruiser attempted a counterattack, its guns blazing towards the Resolute. Michael saw the danger and reacted instinctively. With a powerful leap, his Juggernaut intercepted the fire, deploying its energy shields to protect the flagship. Cheers erupted over the comms as the Elothian cruiser was surrounded and overwhelmed by human fighters. The tide of the battle had turned decisively in humanity's favor. With the outpost secured and the remaining Elothian forces retreating, Michael and his team regrouped. The victory was a significant boost to human morale across the colonies. News of the battle's success spread quickly, igniting celebrations and strengthening resolve. "We did it," Raj said, relief evident in his voice as they debriefed aboard the Resolute Asterisk. We did, Michael agreed, his thoughts already turning to the next phase of their campaign. But this is just the beginning. We've shown them our strength, and now we must maintain the momentum. With their spirits buoyed by the victory at Callisto, Michael and the Earth Defense Alliance, EDA, prepared for the next critical phase of their campaign. The intelligence gathered from the Elothian outpost provided valuable insights into the alien fleet's weaknesses and strategic locations. The time had come to strike at the heart of Elothian power. Their home world, Varellus. As the fleet gathered in the staging area, the scale of the upcoming battle dawned on everyone involved. This would be the largest offensive ever attempted by humanity. Admiral Brooks, aboard the flagship Resolute, addressed the fleet via the comm system. Today, we take the fight to their doorstep. We've shown that we can hit them hard. Now let's show them we can hit them where it counts. Stay sharp, stay coordinated, and we will prevail. Michael, piloting his Juggernaut, led the formation toward Varellus. Beside him, Lisa and Raj, in their respective Juggernauts, braced for the intense battle ahead. The vastness of space around them teemed with human ships, all converging on the Elothian homeworld. As they approached Varellus, the Elothian defense fleet emerged from behind the planet, a formidable barrier of ships ready to defend their home at all costs. The sight was daunting, but Michael remained focused, his resolve as firm as the armor of his Juggernaut. Their fleet is massive, Lisa observed, scanning the enemy formations. But we've got element of surprise on our side again. They weren't expecting us so soon. Juggernauts, take point. Break their line. Fleet groups Alpha through Gamma, follow through the breach. We need to punch through to the surface, Michael commanded, directing the battle's initial thrust. With thunderous roars, the Juggernauts charged, leading the assault. Energy shields flared and weapons blazed as they collided with the Elothian ships. The battle was chaotic, with flashes of light and explosions painting a stark picture against the backdrop of Varellus. Michael maneuvered his Juggernaut through the enemy lines, targeting command ships and creating openings for the human fighters. Raj and Lisa flanked him, dealing devastating blows to the Elothian defenses. Slowly but surely, the human forces began to break through. On the Resolute, Admiral Brooks monitored the progress, coordinating the fleet's movements and providing crucial support. All units, keep pressing forward. We have them on the back foot. As they breached the final line of defense, Michael spotted the Elothian flagship. It was heavily armored and bristling with weapons. Knowing the importance of taking it down, he signaled to Lisa and Raj. "This is it," he said, determination clear in his voice. "Cover me." With precise coordination, they executed a combined assault on the flagship. Michael's Juggernaut leaped forward, dodging incoming fire and closing in on the enemy behemoth. In a display of sheer power and will, he launched a full barrage directly at the flagship's core. The impact was monumental. The Elothian flagship suffered catastrophic damage, its energy core destabilizing. As it began to implode, Michael pulled his Juggernaut back, narrowly escaping the blast radius. The destruction of their flagship sent shockwaves through the Elothian fleet. Their command structure crippled, the remaining ships faltered, allowing the human forces to push forward and secure their foothold around Varellus. With the battle turning in their favor, Michael and his allies prepared to launch the ground invasion, knowing that the real fight to free humanity from Elothian control was just beginning. In the aftermath of the decisive battle above Varellus, the human forces began their ground assault. Michael, Lisa, and Raj, now viewed as heroes of the war, led their Juggernauts onto the alien world. Their task was to secure key positions and dismantle the Elothian war machine from the inside. The landscape of Varellus was stark and otherworldly, marked by towering crystal formations and vast plains. The remaining Elothian forces, though disorganized by the loss of their flagship, mounted a fierce resistance. However, the momentum was with the humans, fueled by their recent victory and the hope of ending the conflict once and for all. As the ground forces advanced, Michael coordinated with the other Juggernaut pilots, ensuring that each target was systematically neutralized. "We've got them on the run, but stay alert," he warned over the comm. "We can't afford any surprises." Meanwhile, in the captured Elothian command center, human technicians worked to access and disable the alien command network. Success here would cripple the Elothian ability to regroup or launch counterattacks. Amidst the chaos, a transmission from the Elothian leadership came through, requesting parley. Michael, cautious but aware of the opportunity, agreed to meet under strict security. The parley was held in a ruined outpost, now secured by human forces. The Elothian leaders, defeated and somber, offered unconditional surrender. "We underestimated humanity," the lead Elothian admitted. "We will cease hostilities and discuss terms of peace." Michael, representing the human forces, accepted their surrender but insisted on strict terms. "Your actions against our people, especially our children, will not be forgotten. Peace will come with accountability and reparations." With the surrender formalized, the war slowly drew to a close. Human forces remained on Varelis to oversee the dismantling of military installations and the establishment of a peacekeeping presence. News of the victory and the end of hostilities spread like wildfire across human territories, igniting celebrations and, more importantly, a collective sigh of relief. Back on Earth, Michael returned as a changed man. The horrors of war and the burden of command had left their mark, but there was also a sense of accomplishment and hope. Reunited with Jake, who had grown wiser and more resilient in his father's absence, Michael reflected on their journey. "We've secured a future where you can grow up without fear," Michael told his son as they stood watching a sunset. "But we must remember what it cost us and work to build a better peace." The story closes with Michael taking up a new role, not as a soldier, but as a diplomat, tasked with helping to forge a lasting peace and integration with the Elothians. He, along with other leaders from the conflict, would spend the coming years navigating the complex path of reconciliation and coexistence. Humanity had not only survived, it had adapted, learned, and ultimately prevailed. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, it was filled with undeniable hope and endless possibilities.